Hi there, I'm Steve Garai. Has it ever happened to you? After you purchase a property, you move in, 2 days later you're having your first conversation with your neighbor in the backyard, and he wonders and asks you, how did the knowledge of the double suicide in the garage affect your buying desire? And you pick yourself up and you wonder, what are your options? You call your attorney, and he or she tells you that just such a case was adjudicated in 2013 in front of the Quebec Superior Court, and the number of that court case is QCCS 5890, Fortin versus Mercier, if you want to look it up. And the court examined in this case what significance did this omission have on the real estate transaction and whether or not it could lead to the annulment of the transaction. They asked the purchaser, what was your original intention in purchasing this property? And the buyer said, well, they wanted to form a family and they never would have bought the property had they known about this double suicide. So indeed, the court felt that the omission of this information constituted deceit, that the buyer decision was defective in that it lacked the legal validity given they were operating under an incomplete set of facts, and therefore, on top of annulling the transaction, they awarded moral damages. The court further clarified that in this particular case, this double suicide did not constitute a latent defect of the property, but rather a defective buyer decision. So what's the moral of the story? Well, the court reiterated the importance of the vendor declaration in the context of a real estate transaction. That it must be filled in truthfully, and obviously because buyers will be basing their decision on what they read in this document. And they reiterated the central role of the real estate broker in the transaction, given that the first time around the vendor was reminded by the first real estate broker when they concluded the real estate brokerage agreement that the vendor was under an obligation to declare the double suicide, and given the vendor didn't want to go along with this, the contract was terminated by both parties summarily. And the second time around, with a second broker, the broker wrote in the vendor declaration that the double suicide occurred in the garage. Unfortunately, during this time, there were no offers to purchase presented, and the agreement expired, worthless. And the third time around, the vendor tried to sell the property through one of these do-it-yourself entities here in Quebec and did not declare on the vendor declaration form the double suicide. And this unwitting couple came along, and the rest you know. If you found this information interesting, I invite you to give me a thumbs up. Let me know in the notes what other subjects you'd like me to treat in an upcoming episode. And in the meantime, folks, I will wish you well. Bye for now.